Today is give you a breakdown of the way that I'm able to do the magic that I do as far as pulling up a student's frame to my frame when I'm teaching an Infield boot camp. Now, what do I mean by an Infield boot camp? Infield trainings are programs where I don't just teach in a seminar. I don't just teach talking to a video. Oh, hard stuff. Okay, but I do teaching the hardest way possible. The hardest way and the most transformative way to teach in the world, which is that I man the fuck up, I have balls of fucking steel, I take you out to learn about social skills, I show you how to socialize by taking over an entire venue right in front of your very eyes on a level that you never thought possible and is like watching a freak of nature, and just the most incredible results. But then I don't just stop there, I get you to do it. And I don't care if you're low self-esteem. I don't care if you view yourself as a 2 out of 10. I don't care if you're depressed. I don't care if you're short. I don't care if you're bald or ugly. I don't give a fuck if you're fat. I don't give a fuck if you're in a fucking wheelchair like I was for the past 3 months and still crushed it. I don't care. Do you understand? Do you understand? I don't give a fuck. You're gonna fucking win. You are going to fucking win. And there's ways that I actually teach this. So I'm not teaching Infield that much longer. Typically, you never hear me talking about Infield trainings because I have about a 22-year list of people that fill up and clog up all the programs. So I never talk about it. But I thought that I would do a little bit of talking about it here today because why not, right? I don't really talk about this that much online. And it's my real passion is Infield training, okay? If you ever want to get onto an Infield training with me, they're super packed out, and I'm doing a podcast next year, so I want to mention it here because if it's on your bucket list to go out with me and crush it at the club before you die, shoot me a DM if that's on your bucket list. And if you're serious about it, okay? Shoot me your name, phone number, email, and time to call you. That's a screen, okay? If you can't figure out how to put your name, phone number, email, and time to call, probably there's nothing much I could do for you, okay? Because that's the basics. So if you want to ever do a proper Infield training, the real training, not some fucking bullshit, the real training, while I'm still doing these little boutique ones before I shoot a podcast next year, I'm kind of putting the word out. I'm going to do a couple little video series about this, and then I'm pulling the plug on it. You're not going to be able to find it online because you can't find it online, and this will be the only way to do it. So I don't even have a website for this, okay? So I just thought I would do it through Instagram, okay? So right here, if you want to talk to me about it, let's fucking go. Okay, so my job, okay, when I'm on an Infield training is I've got to be able to take over the whole club, which means that I've got to be the dominant, most popular guy in that club. And that doesn't mean that I walk around like that every day of my life. Some days I go out and I'm quiet with my friends to chat. Some days I'm just chilling. But, you know, when it's time to crush it, it's time to crush it. And if I've made a choice, okay, we're crushing it tonight, I've got to, first of all, step one, I've got to pull that club up to my frame as far as me going to an environment where nobody knows me at all. And I've got to be so fucking good at this that I am able to ingratiate myself with basically an entire venue, okay? So have it to where I'm friends with like most of the people in that venue. You know, you're going to have the odd person that doesn't want to talk to you. That's okay, but most people will. You're going to have the odd bad nights here or there, but usually you're going to smash it. And basically what you're looking for is you're basically looking to get it to where someone who's very attractive buys into the frame that even though you might not be that physically attractive, that you're somebody who they're very lucky to know and that they're attracted to. Or you also want to get it to the point where you're socializing with people and making friends with the kind of people that you want to make friends with. And that they highly value your time, they think you're mad fucking cool, and they're fighting and competing for your attention. So that is the first level of being good at this. I've taught you that for many years, how to do that. I hope that you can do that. Even though you can, though, the best people still get training. But nonetheless, I hope that you've got a base level knowledge of that from all my teaching. Now, the hard part, if you actually think about this, I mean, anybody can just learn to go out and smash it. That's one level that most will never figure out because they're lazy. But the point is that that's one level that anybody could learn if they put their mind to it. But what most people can't do is they can't figure out how to teach it. So how do you get a guy who's low self-esteem, who's depressed, who's stuck in his head, who's fucking negative, who's an energy vampire? How do you get somebody like that to smash it? And the way that you have to do it is you have to be so fucking strong in your frame that your frame emanates out like this fucking giant mushroom, like a big ass marshmallow just going, bleh. and basically everybody around you becomes super fucking positive and has an amazing time, okay? This is classic guru shtick, okay? Like, for example, I've gone to see Eckhart Tolle live a bunch of times, and when Eckhart gets on stage, we all get super, super present. That's just what Eckhart's able to do as a guru. I've been to Anthony Robbins many times. I've been to many gurus, but you know Anthony Robbins, right? And he gets you in this very motivational mode. So he can get a 20,000 person room to get super fucking hype motivated. What I'm good at is getting people to get very, very social, to get them social, to get you fearless, to get you funny, to get you relaxed, to get you fucking confident, to get you in fucking state, to get it to where you're just like in this chill, social, kind of Zen mind sort of mood where you're just having fun with everybody there, okay? So I'm here to show you how I do that because I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from this. So one of the first lessons that I had, and this is going to be a bit of a history lesson here, was I was doing infield training since 2002. And I can remember that after the infield trainings, at times, I would feel very, very mentally exhausted. And the reason I felt mentally exhausted was because I'm out there pouring my soul into the students that I'm working with. But at the end of it, I felt depleted. Now, what happened was I met actually a manager of a business competitor at that time. And he said, Owen, do you want to know what the difference between you and this guy is? And I said, what's that? He said, my boy pulls other people up to his frame. You allow yourself to be pulled down to their frame. That fucking pissed me off. Okay? I was like, damn it, he's right. I'm letting my frame get pulled down. So what I did at that point was I took what he said to heart. Now, what was hilarious about it, this is like what's so funny, right? There's been so many different people that I've learned from over the years who they themselves will talk about what their ideal is. I get angry and then I go emulate it and I take that very fucking serious, hilariously. And then I take it to like, you know, I fucking ride that shit till the wheels fall off. And then I'll later find out that they don't even do it themselves. So hilariously, like 5 years later, I heard from that same guy. He's like, well, you know, he does get very tired after a training and he's actually exhausted, needs a week off. And I'm like, what? You told me that he gets energized from training. Like, you fucking lied. But he helped me. Thank God I had that discussion with him. That one simple discussion changed my life, which was this. For me as a teacher, nobody will pull down my fucking frame. Nobody is able to be negative around me. Nobody is able to be afraid around me. Nobody's able to be stuck in their head around me. Nobody's able to be too serious around me. What I got to do is I've got to roll into an environment and I've got to get everybody fucking laughing, not taking themselves seriously, fearless. Look, it's like being a good skydiving instructor, right? Or no, here's another example because I've actually done a bit of skydiving, but let me give you another example. I remember once I was in Hawaii and I was in this boat where they would sort of shoot you up on a parachute, but it was like a parachute attached to a cable in the back of a boat so you could see the ocean. And I kept saying to the guy on the boat, I kept saying, hey, is that cable going to break? Because my brain's kind of looking at this. I'm like, well, if that cable breaks, I'm going to die, you know, or float off somewhere. I'm like, I don't really know what would happen. It probably wouldn't be too good. He'd be chasing me in his little boat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in Hawaii. But rather than saying to me like, okay, Owen, well, you know, the statistics on the cable is like there's only one cable breakage out of every 50,000 and one person in 5,000 dies in a car accident. So you're actually safer on the cable and you can't live your life like this. So just get on the cable because of the statistics, right? So what that would have been doing was that would have been acknowledging my frame. This guy was smart. So he was a Hawaiian guy. I'm going to try my best to imitate a pigeon accent, which I'm not great at, but I live in Hawaii. He said, hey, actually, I'm really not good at this. But anyway, okay, so he says, hey, you know, the shark be waiting for you in the ocean, yeah, with their mouth open, yeah? So don't worry, the shark gonna catch you, yeah? Just, you know, you fall down the parachute, the shark gonna bite you, the shark gonna eat you, you'll be okay, right? So that's my bad pigeon. In Hawaii, there's a Hawaiian dialect called pigeon. So anyway, the point being was he got me laughing, right? So as soon as he showed that nothing was serious, I got pulled up to his frame of nothing serious. Now, was it really true? No. This guy probably works for $12 an hour, has no clue whether or not the cable's that good or not. And on occasion, people do die in little events like that. But, you know, to be fair, people die just in Ubers and stuff. So I just went for it. I had a great day. Beautiful day. Saw Hawaii from a parachute. I've also done actual tandem skydiving, same kind of thing. So I remember when I was 22 years old, I woke up one morning and it was a beautiful morning. It was like 6 a.m. And I grabbed my buddy Sammy and I said, Sammy, on a day like this, we were in Kingston, Ontario. I said, Sammy, on a day like this, we're going skydiving. I just woke up and had the impulse to go skydiving, like on impulse. So I drove down to Gananoque. Okay, anybody from Canada? What's up? You're like, holy shit, he knows where Gananoque is. Tiniest town ever. Anyway, I just saw in like the yellow pages back then, this was before the internet, or before popularization of the internet, I hop up and I just drive my ass down. We go hop in this little rickety ass plane. I mean, this plane was so fucking rickety that you want to get out of the fucking plane. Like, you feel safer to skydive out of this thing than to land in it. There's literal duct tape on this fucking thing. But anyway, I go up in there with these fucking instructors, and whenever they jump out, they make funny faces at me, and you'd see this guy's mouth go like this, like full of air, and his mouth would be shaking, that he would just backflip out of the plane, and you're like, holy shit. Or they'd be like, okay, boys, this is my stop, getting out, and they just fly out. So what's happening is they're keeping the vibe very, very chill in an environment that would be inherently stressful. If these teachers show even the slightest little bit of fear around the clients will get unnerved, and then they'll start not jumping. But if you can get people to do skydiving, or on the parachute behind the boat, or bungee jump, or things like that, if you can get people doing things that are inherently scary, but you make it not a big deal, then what happens is that you can pull them up to your frame. And it was weird, but like, it's so hilarious, because I remember like a decade later, I hear like, no, he actually gets tired after trainings. And I literally, in my natural competitiveness, was like, no, I've got to pull people up to my frame. And so the word that I use I call it and you can quote me on this one, I called it the energetic condom. And here's what I mean by an energetic condom, because a lot of infield teachers in the industry, they'll complain that students can leech energy from them. But what I always tell them is, like, oh no, you got this the wrong way. You have to have the energetic condom. They say, what's the energetic condom? I never even talk about this. Okay, so the energetic condom is this. Let's say that you're teaching a small group of people. Statistically, at least one person in that group is going to be very, very negative at an energy leech. Now, by the way, if that's you, I can still train you. I'm just going to show you how. But the point is, there could be someone who's an energy leech. Well, and you're also going to have someone who's already amazing, and then you're going to have everybody in between. So what happens is, if you wear the energetic condom in the same way that, as long as the condom worked, because condoms are not 100%, by the way, but let's just say in your imagination the condoms were 100%. Well, if you wore a condom in our imaginary world where they're 100%, which of course they could break and they don't give you full coverage and they can fail, but let's just say they're 100%. If you wore the energetic condom or the real condom, and you hooked up with somebody that had a disease, ideally you wouldn't ever know that they had the disease because you wore the condom, right? So you could have sex with somebody that had chlamydia, and ideally, if you wore that condom, you'd never know. It'd be like, hey, I hooked up with that person. Well, bro, they had chlamydia. I never knew. I wore the condom. In the same way, the energetic condom is basically where you pull everybody up to your frame, so you never have to find out if somebody was a bitch, if somebody was a coward, if somebody was an energy leech, if somebody was a fucking energetic vampire, if somebody was just a complainer, if someone was negative. You never know. You never find out. I never, ever in decades have had to deal with a student that was negative, because I set such a strong frame that we're going to have a fucking awesome time. It is an impenetrable, bulletproof frame. We got the energetic condom. There's nothing coming in. I'm not drawing energy off the room. I'm just manufacturing my own energy by getting, and I talked about this in the last video, getting super present, getting super tapped in, circulating the energy in my own body, feeding off of my own awareness and presence and the joy of existence, not needing anything outside of myself to be positive or negative. I don't care. So everybody around me gets in the zone, right? So this is why on boot camp, it's so crazy. By the 4th day of boot camp, everybody is so flying on just flying, like walking on water, basically. Like, everybody there has been walking on water for so many days that they're in tears. Like, they realize, I never had to be depressed. I never had to be upset. I never had to be in scarcity. I could get the results that I want. I'm in control. I'm at the cause, not the effect. And the big one is, I'm at the cause, not the effect, and life is easy. This is what you don't understand. I've talked about this in many other videos. Life can be like heaven. Life can be like hell. Hell is being a victim. Hell is the world being hard. Heaven is being at the cause and being a first mover, connected to God, the first mover, and heaven is the world being easy. So this is what you need to understand. You, when you're out there and you're struggling, it's not hard. That's what you don't get. It's easy. That's the biggest thing that you'll get from me on infield training. I'll give you millions of dollars, in my view, of communication advice. I will change your communication in ways that you have no idea. I'll teach you how to free associate. I'll teach you how to talk and talk. I'll teach you how to emotionally regulate yourself and how to keep yourself in state. I'll show you entire schematics and processes of how to work a club. I will show you when to do every single thing so you'll know from top to bottom every single thing to do. I'll show you technique. I'll give you personal feedback. I'll show you how it's done in person. I'll get you doing it. I'll give you corrections in the field, all that stuff. It's awesome. But, and this is, you remember I told you earlier that if you've watched my free tours and you've watched my videos, my outdoor videos, like you've never seen the real teaching, I'm giving you insight here into the real teaching. This is the real Owen. This is my fucking life for decades. This is what I really do, the real teaching. This is not some bullshit on YouTube where you watch it for infotainment, which basically you're just pumping numbers up to make me look good for the real students. The real students do the infield training. The real students want the transformation. The real students want dramatic and fast transformation very, very, very quickly. They want it fast. They want it fucking now, okay? By the way, if you want to know what I'm talking about, if you're live right now and you're just getting here, shoot me a DM if you want that kind of transformation and you're serious about it. I don't offer this on the internet. These are full, stacked out months in advance usually. The reason why is because I have a 22-year list of people that clamor to get on these. These are usually veterans who wound up making money from the program and they wind up coming back. So a lot of who I teach is very, very satisfied, wealthy alumni. Everybody around me, at least, well, not everybody, because I don't want to make some weird guarantee, but the majority of people that are around me get so much success, they want to keep learning. I don't need to push it on them. They're pushing me to keep teaching them. So as a result of that, I don't really talk about infield trading that much, but because I'm taking it away and I'm moving more into podcasting this coming year, I'm mentioning it here. And once you don't hear me mention that again, there's not going to be a website, nowhere that you can find it, nowhere to reach out, okay? So if you want to reach out now, just shoot me a DM, Owen Cook on Instagram. Use the DM, name, phone number, email, and time to call you, okay? All right, so that's if you want to meet me in person and you want to actually change, you want to change quick, but only do so if you're fucking serious. Okay, so now, as I'm doing this kind of training and I'm putting this kind of frame into the room, people are realizing for the first time how much the social conditioning is dragging them down. You ever heard this idea that you become who you hang out with? Like you become who you hang out with. That's real. So when you're around a real leader who's putting their fucking nuts on the line like that, but while doing it is in a super, super, super good mood, it's a shift in the energy, okay? Like a real kind of fucking wizard-ass guru motherfucker, they're able to shift the energy of a fucking room in their sleep. They're able to get the whole room laughing. They keep the room and the vibe and the energy up. It's coming in just wave after wave after wave. It's like a tsunami. You can't resist it. Like a great guru has such precise energetic control that they are like a tsunami. Like there's nothing you could do to resist. Like imagine just being in front of a master comedian and that comedian just gets you laughing and laughing. Say a guy like Bill Burr, Russell Brand was at his peak with comedy, where he's just so fucking funny. It's like, try not to laugh, bitch. And you're like, fuck, like I can't not laugh because this guy's frame is so strong. He's so fucking funny. I can't not laugh. That is what a great infield teacher is like. It's like they're so much in state. They're so much in the zone. They're so positive. They're so abundant. But the big thing is the world is a light place for them. The world is just light. It's a joke. It's funny, right? I was with my friend Masha the other night. And Masha's like maybe the most like amazing woman I met in my fucking life. She's incredible. But it's a funny thing because she showed me how she actually likes to release. She likes to cry and get stuff out. And yes, that's healthy. I've done release work. But what I want to show her someday, because we didn't have enough time to talk about it, was like there's a whole other paradigm. And this is a paradigm where you're not stuffing your pain. You're not hiding from your pain. You're not medicating your pain. But you just don't have pain. And what I mean by this is not that I have no pain, but it's when you connect to source and you realize this is just a big, fun playground. It's a beautiful playground. It doesn't matter if you get rejected. It doesn't matter if someone doesn't like you. It doesn't matter if somebody was a bit mean to you. It doesn't matter if you didn't get what you want in the moment. It doesn't even matter if somebody threatened to kill you at all. Okay? It doesn't matter because you know that you're a soul. You know that this life will blink by. And so you know that it's just all fun, okay? It's just fun. And unfortunately, we live in a reality where the frame is so frenetic and ADD and looking at social media apps and wasting time and low value for time and low value for joy. But being somebody, like for me when I'm teaching, the frame that I'm putting everywhere is one of just extreme gratitude and extreme beauty of life. Just recognizing like, guys, like we're out here. We're at this fucking boot camp. We're a fucking crew. We're a family here. We have a family-like environment here. And we are going to smash it tonight. And then what you see is you're smashing it. I'm smashing it. Your friends are smashing it. And everyone's just laughing and dancing and fucking around, getting results, running off on adventures. And it's just wild. It's just the most wild experience. You can see why I kept teaching this for years and years and years and years, because it's so beautiful. And, for me, to learn how to not only do it myself, but to be able to share that frame. Because like, I really, really, really do what I can to try to share this frame with you over live broadcasts, for videos that I shoot in nature. I try to go to nature to like bring that energy to you. I do seminars and things like that, and I try to share it to that, in these environments as best as I can. In seminars, I really push the envelope. I try different methods of teaching. I teach in positive ways, negative ways, funny ways, serious ways, structured ways, unstructured ways. I try everything. I throw the mud at the wall. I'm trying everything. I'm pushing the edge. But there's only so much that I can do in a video, and there's only so much that I can do without interaction with you. But if I can get my energy connected to your energy, and we can work together collaboratively, the things that I can do for you from years of doing this will show you an entirely different way. And that is my goal, again, is not to ever be pulled down into somebody's frame, but to elevate you to my frame, okay? And the lesson there for you, I'd recommend that you train with me if you're serious. But the major lesson starting right now, this millisecond, is if you have a girlfriend and she's a bit chaotic, if you're a girl with a boyfriend or same-sex couple, do not let the other person fuck with your frame. If there's somebody harassing you, don't let them fuck with your frame. If you have a coworker or an employee, don't let them fuck with your frame. You've got to stay in your abundance. Okay, in the Bible, when it talks about even loving your enemies, it's because they're becoming your enemy to get you in this competitive state where they fuck with your frame that you forget that we're all souls. They're trying to fuck with you to get you to forget about your infinite nature. That's really deep shit that I just said there, by the way, but we're glossing over it. We'll choose to gloss over it today because it's a deep lesson that requires further insight and fleshing out. But the idea of when someone's an enemy to you, they're trying to knock you off your perch of being happy and joyful. And they're trying to get you to contract and to shrink. And when you say, you know what, even if you're my enemy, I love you to death. I think you're hilarious. I think you're joking. I don't think this is you. I don't think this is you. I think this is some weird ass demon that you've let in your soul. I don't think that at a core base level consciousness, who you really are, much like when Luke Skywalker rescues Darth Vader. And he's like, I know that you're better than this. And Darth Vader's like, no, I'm under the spell of the dark side now. But eventually at the end, Darth Vader, he lets go of the dark side. And then he's like, Luke, you were right. You were right. And he had his redemption right before he died. And that's because you understand that that person who's even your enemy is just possessed by negative energy. That's not who they are at base consciousness. So, you might have to protect yourself in some ways with somebody like that. There's pragmatic realities to it. But the point is that you could also understand that they're possessed. Well, in the same way, any environment that you're in where there's negativity, scarcity, and a lack of joy, it's delusion. And the reason that it's delusion is because our mere existence is a fucking gift. This is so rare. It's the gift of consciousness. Do you understand? The gift of fucking consciousness. We're here. This is it. We're here. This is fucking awesome. What does it matter if you had a rejection or if you're nervous or if you have anxiety? Who cares? We've got to celebrate. And so that frame that I put on in a program, in a training, that is something that I practice in day-to-day life as well. I share it, but I benefit from it, right? Like I'm not just I'm not just the president of the company. I'm a client, right? Like I teach this stuff specifically because I want you to be able to learn that too, okay? Now what I do is in pushing that frame onto the students, then what I'm doing is I create pragmatic methodologies. And what I'm looking to do is I'm looking, and how far deep into this are we now? We're about 25 minutes. Okay, so I'll talk about methodologies next. Okay, so what I do is I have very, very, very pragmatic methodologies that I'm using. And these are methodologies where this is sort of a big one for me. So rather than just trying to show you every single technique on day one, which I think, see, the problem is the human brain remembers something like 5% of what we read, 10% of what we hear, and about 50% of what we do. So what I try to do on day one when I teach is I don't necessarily want to load you up with every single piece of theory before you go out. So what I'm looking to do on day one is I'm trying to get you to the point where you are learning how to just work a venue effectively, okay? Because see, once you can work a venue effectively, now we can begin to teach. But until you can work a venue effectively, we're very, very limited in what it is that we can teach you. So the base level to anybody being able to learn this from my point of view, this is just my personal take on it. Everyone's got a different take. My take on it is that if I can get you to the point within 2-3 hours that you can go to any venue, rapidly get in state, have proactive control over your state, and get you to work through that venue, okay, if I can get you to do that, then the teaching begins. But until we've got you to the point that we can actually go do that, the teaching doesn't really begin, does it? Because it can't. It can't really begin. Because now we're just like, well, hey, remember to say this. Hey, look for this, certain indicator of interest. Hey, look for this facial expression. It's like, it's just a bunch of useless fucking information. But if we can get you into momentum on day one, where you're meeting just fucking everybody, damn, we can start teaching you. So what I'm looking to do is I'm getting you to think about how you're working a venue, okay? And, I remember back Kobe Bryant Game 7 against the Boston Celtics, which he eventually won. He actually, I think he was like 6 for 24 that night. He had a low shooting percentage. He played a lot of gritty defense because he knew that his shot wasn't falling initially, that he was able to pull together at the end, thank God, and he won the series. Most important finals of his life, LA versus the Celtics, big rivalry. And he lost 2 years earlier. But I remember at the end of it, Phil Jackson, who also coached Michael Jordan, he said, I was actually at that game, it was amazing. Phil Jackson, who was also the coach of Michael Jordan, he said the problem with Kobe was he wanted it too much. He just wants it too much. He wants to win so bad that he can't get in rhythm. So this is what you'll see in NBA basketball games, right? It's like a lot of these highly intense playoff games, they're a little bit too mechanical. They're too mechanical. And they haven't lost themselves in the game, right? And when the game really gets good is when they stop thinking so much and they lose themselves in the game. This is me doing seminars, right? I want to lose myself in the seminar. This is me when I go out, okay? So it's because it's kind of weird to think about it. You're like, okay, it's like 9:30. We're gonna be out here till like whether it's 2 in the morning or 5 in the morning, depending on the city. Like, are we really gonna be out here like 4 hours or like even up to 7 hours, like 9:30 until 5:30 in the morning? That's a long time, right? Even me when I do seminars, for example, right? Say I'm running it from 2 p.m., like the free events that I do, 2 p.m. until, at least midnight, right? And you pause and you think to yourself, that is pretty fucking crazy. I'm gonna be in here for 10 hours. And if it's one of those 4-day ones, I'm like, I'm gonna be screaming into this audience for 10 hours for 4 days. I'm gonna be screaming for 40 cumulative hours. Oh my God. And and you're like, what the fuck? Like this is crazy, right? Like think about the fact that literally, I'm going out 4 or 5 nights a week, and every night that I'm going out, it's like 4 or 5 hours. And you say to yourself, this is fucking madness. This is a lot of fucking hours. Here's what you don't understand. You gotta understand me, okay? Time is relative. 4 hours can seem like a fucking nightmarish hell of a long time, right? Like they joke in, in combat, they say, like Conor McGregor's like, you about to have a long night. You about to have a long night, you fuck. That wasn't bad, okay? Right? You about to have a long night. Well, that means you're having a hard night, right? You're not in flow. But see, the infinite for human beings, our lives are so short. Statistically speaking, most people that will be watching this will be watching after I'm dead. Like, statistically speaking, like this isn't real right now, right? Like, oh, like it's alive, Owen, and it's like the person watching is alive. Like, do you understand that most people that will be watching this after I'm dead? Okay, Like, I should literally just make these videos for after I'm dead. Like, hello, people that are watching me when I'm dead. That's real, okay? So, I'm dead man walking. You're a dead man or woman walking. We're all dead. We can't find the infinite in the breath. We can't. Even if you live to be 120 years old, that's nothing. What does it matter that some guy 1,000 years ago lived to be 120 years old? It's fucking nothing. Okay? It's nothing. You'll never find the infinite in the breath. It's great to do life extension. I do a lot of anti-aging stuff. It's awesome. It's really cool. I've been sick a long time. It's awesome. But you're never going to find the infinite in breath. We find the infinite in our mortal human forms, in these mortal bodies, in the depth. In that depth where we access the core essence of our very souls. And understand that when you go out, it's forever and it's a millisecond. Okay? The time, it's like you're out there for hours, but it's a millisecond. It's boom, pew, gone. You're so much in the zone. You just, whoa, 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 whoa. This is fucking crazy, right? It's like, right? Let's say that you've known me. Maybe you're somebody who's watched my content since way back in the day. Look how fast it's gone, right? If you've been watching me a long time, it's like, where'd the time go? And that happens in year-to-year basis, decade-to-decade basis, and it happens in a night. You have it in, and let me be clear here. You live an entire life in a night out, a whole life. Crazy shit happens. You're responsive. You're in the flow of it. You're in the flow of the game. And I love everything about it. I love everything about it. And it's the most, it makes meditation look like shit by comparison, okay? Meditation's amazing, you know, Vipassana, different meditation that you can do, but this is an active meditation where you're not, okay, like it's amazing to do meditation just staring at a wall or closing your eyes or being at an ashram, because what's happening there is you're learning to lower the stimulation and you're learning to stay deeply present amidst stimulation. That's why people that come back from Vipassana meditation retreats, they often last 10 days. You can sign up for them for free, check them out. That's a powerful experience because you learn to just be deeply present with no stimulation. Something like this is a little bit different, whether it's public speaking or when I do Infield trainings, because what happens is that you get into a deeply, deeply profound trance, and you're super present, but the stimulus is making you more present, okay? So the fact that there could be loud noise, screaming, chaos, it forces you to go deeper within yourself and you get so present to it, and you have to shine that light, like you turn up this light bulb in yourself and it gets so bright that it's like even in the darkness, in the fucking chaos, that bright, bright, bright light just shines out. And people can sense there's something different about you. They're like, I've never met somebody like this. People will just, when you do this right and you're just emanating energy, people will start screaming like, he's awesome, he's awesome. Like they start to freak out. They get very attracted to you. They start to freak out because you're so deeply present and in the flow of it. It is so much fun. It is such a thrill. And you know, it's like you say to yourself, like, what's more fun, going out or say physical intimacy? It's just different. What's better, skydiving or eating a steak dinner and a milkshake? They're just different. One is a pleasure of the senses. The other is a pleasure of the soul. And, you know, as you get more and more into this, of course you love both. Who doesn't want to eat a steak? I want to eat a steak, but I love being in that flow state. And you get a palate for it over time. And every flow state that you have has a different characteristic of any given night. And every night that you get is a gift. And you just get in that flow state. So you can imagine that if you're coming from this kind of frame, you know, when I'm teaching you on boot camp, that's what I'm trying to put in you, okay? And what's funny is everybody that I work with, coaches that I work with, friends that I work with, all understand this. They all have this exact same vibe, which is just they understand how to get in that zone. And so in the same way that, you know, when I sit here with you at the chair And it's just like, it's like getting onto a roller coaster. You know, usually I do these like around an hour, some are 45 minutes, a couple are 2 hours, but it's like you just get in and it's like, you know, it's like even when I go to do these lives, right? Like right before I go, and we're live. And it's kind of like a roller coaster going to the top. You're like, you know, and you're just going up. Like, all right, let's go, you know, and you just go down, right? And that's how I've lived my life for many, many years. It's just on the weekends, I'm teaching, and I meet you, I meet you in person, and whatever frame you're in, I'm okay with that. You can be positive. There's guys that are there that are literal billionaires sometimes, guys that are already crushing it and very advanced, and we're probably the only people they can go to learn from. And then we have people that are intermediate, and we have people that are new. And it doesn't matter to me where somebody's at. I'm there to bring energy to you, to be the best teacher that I can possibly be, and just bring energy and show you the way. And so my goal, like I said, is I want you on that first night to be in that trance state. And every single thing that it is that I'm teaching you is how to access that trance state to where you can work a venue in a flow state, no booze involved. A lot of people that take boot camp, they actually say that they save money because they don't drink. But basically like no booze, trance state, work your way around the venue and take over the venue because you're in this complete, total fucking flow state. It's just perfect. Just perfect, okay? And so once you're in that mode, and maybe we'll make the next video about how to achieve that state. I'm thinking about it because I just love the themes that we've established here for this video. So let's see, how deep in are we? We're at, what are we, about 35 minutes? Where are we at? How long has it been, bro? Yeah, 36. 36? Okay, so I'll run this about another 15 of this one, okay? Actually, you know what? Let me share in this video. Let's do this video. You up for that? Okay, see, I never know how long we've been going. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about methodology and how to think about this, okay? So how do you think about working a venue? So the way that I think about it is that you have the frame that I'm pulling you up to. That is something that takes inner work, but that's also something that you need to learn that directly from a guru in person. It's very, very hard to get that on your own at home. You can, but I personally went directly to sit at the feet of the master like Eckhart Tolle and many other teachers of presence to get that, okay? There's a reason that I paid a gazillion dollars to be like, you know, as close to the front row as I could for every Kobe Bryant game when he was playing for the Lakers before he passed. You want to get around it. You want to do whatever it takes to get around that in my personal experience. I've done that. I've spent vast fortunes just to get around people like this because I want to pick up on it. Now, because why? Because we're stuck in this fucking soup of bullshit conditioning. Now, from there, you want to think about the layout of the venue itself. So let me give you a couple quick examples here. One example would be, for simple one, would be, let's say that you think of the venue like a square. Okay, these are just practical ways to think of like a square. Okay, so what is a typical way that you go and you fuck your night up? Like, how do you fuck up your fucking night? Well, the common way that you're probably going to fuck your night up is you're going to go in there, and here's what it's going to, let me show you exactly what it's going to look like. You're going to go into your night, and you're going to sit there, and you're going to be like, okay, I want someone to like me. So you get in a venue, and you begin to wander around. You're wandering around, wandering around, wandering around. Then what winds up happening is as you're wandering around, you're getting less and less in the zone because you're walking by people, you're thinking of approaching, you don't. That's kind of like making you feel bad about yourself. You're breaking promises to yourself. And you're not controlling your own frame. So what's happening is that you're getting loss after loss after loss after loss because you're being coward. And you're making excuses. Now you have action taking momentum and you have excuse making momentum. And so you've got to be active in controlling your own experience through this process. So I view getting instated in a nightclub as like the best metaphor would be like jerking off. And obviously it's very different. You shouldn't be jerking off like for real. I'm saying that as a metaphor, not something to actually do. And basically what I'm saying is, you know, for whatever fucking one random idiot that's like, oh, and it goes and does that. So basically what you have is that in the same way, I compare it to jerking off because in effect, you are controlling your own state and you are controlling your own mood. In the case of jerking off, like literally just jerking yourself off till you literally come. I mean, talk about fucking state control, that you can make yourself simulate that you're having sex just by using your own fucking brain to think that you're having sex till you literally ejaculate. That shows the power of state control, okay? Like if you don't think you have state control and you can jerk off, you've got more state control than you realize. This is exactly like that. Combine that with taking a shit, right? It's like jerking off while taking a shit. Why? Because if you take a shit, you push, what happens? Ass tightens up, it's gonna blow your fucking ass apart. I don't technically know that, but let's say you clench your ass cheeks, you push, I don't really know what happened. Maybe try it out, let me know. So instead what you do, take a shit, you just let go. So it's a combination of just letting go, but kind of like jerking yourself off, okay? So imagine you're jerking off taking a shit. Metaphorically, that's the analogy, okay? So when you're out there, it's like you let go, but you're controlling your own state and you're manicuring your own state and taking full control over your own state while you're letting go. So a simple example that I'll give to students, which I do myself, is after every single interaction, I say 1,000 out of 10. 1,000 out of 10. I find something, okay, now initially I'll get you to say that to internalize it, but in truth, it's more of like a nervous system response in your own head. Who the fuck would have the balls to do that? Maybe look at something that you might fine tune about it, because you might want to change things about it. You know, should I have gotten a little closer? Should I have been further? Should I have been funnier? Should I have been more serious, et cetera, right? So you might tweak something or fine tune something and then find something funny about it. So let's look at that sequence. Who the fuck would have the balls to do that? Okay, again, notice the nervous system. Watch the difference. Who the fuck would have the balls to do that? Who the fuck would have the balls to do that? That does nothing. Who the fuck would have the balls to do that, right? That's it right in the fucking nervous system, okay? Spiking the nervous system. You win. Why do you win? Because who the fuck would have the balls to do that? 1,000 out of 10. Why do we say 1,000 out of 10? Not 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. 1,000 out of 10 is illogical. Why is it 1,000 out of 10? Because you did it sober. You went and approached someone sober. Who the fuck would have the balls to do that? Most of the people that you see out there are not sober. Most of the people that you see out there are came with people. They're not meeting people while sober. So clearly what you're doing is you have super, super, super courage. By the way, only be properly talking to people that are sober, but you know my point, right? You are purely sober. So from that standpoint, then what you do is you're controlling your own state. 1,000 out of 10, you give yourself an irrational rating. Why is it 1,000 out of 10? Because who the fuck would have the balls to do that? You fine tune something about it that you might change, just objectively in your awareness, and then you find something funny about it so that you're laughing. Now what you're doing is you're giving yourself the win, and then what you do is you say to yourself, a simple way to do it, this would be a very simple way, is that you do it like in a square, right? So say that you would talk to every single person along a square, top of the square, bottom of the square, and back. At each corner of the square, you give yourself extra fucking props, and then you can take a break when you're back. What's gonna happen by the end of that? You're already getting in that trance. That whole square might take 45 minutes or an hour in most cases. And then what winds up happening is you're in a flow state. You've met everybody. A ton of people know you. You feel good about it. But what it also does is it prevents you from being this kind of leaf in the wind where you kind of like talk, oh, it didn't go well. And then you feel bad. Talk, oh, it didn't go well. And you feel bad. Talk, and it didn't go well. And then you feel bad. And you're getting rejected. Worst state. Why? I just want them to like me. Why don't they like me? I'm fucking garbage. I'm fucking shit. I'm so uptight. I'm so trapped in my head. My night sucks, right? And then you're just kind of like, there's no real aim or outcome. Versus if your goal is just, I'm going to engage everybody, then you kind of engage people for like 2-3 minutes or whatever. Maybe some of them go longer. But you basically do that. So now you have a mission outside of their approval. It's like, no, I'm not here for your approval. I'm here to prove to myself that I can engage in conversations with everybody in this venue. That's why I'm here. I'm happy to be talking to you. I'll be talking to somebody else next. And what winds up happening is that within 45 minutes, you know fucking everybody, and they just keep coming back up to you. Now, what's going to happen to your state is everybody, like not everybody, but a ton of people just keep coming back up to you. It further enhances your state. And if you have great state management, your state's going to shoot up and up and up. Now, who are the people that will tell you that state doesn't matter? Some people will. And here's my personal view of that. First of all, it's often people who drink. Many people who will tell you that your state doesn't matter are alcoholics, drinkers, or drug users. Very, very common. They hate the idea of state. They hate it. That is one. They're like, why would you care about your state? Just do it anyway. But they drink. If somebody drinks, of course they don't care about their state because actually they care anybody who drinks actually cares the most about state because they're literally willing to poison their body and poison their brain and make themselves unhealthy on a regular basis to get in state. They care about it even more than a sober person does. They just don't admit it and they drink. Another kind of person that doesn't care about state is psychopaths. I've known people over the years that are psychopaths. These are people who actually cannot experience a flow state. They actually can't. They're cut off from God, so to speak. If you don't believe in God, they're cut off from the flow. They don't have that range of emotion. Psychopaths, narcissists. How can you find someone who's a psychopath or who's a narcissist? They're often constantly in competition with other people, constantly doing derogation of competition, constantly, like, they don't really have an identity. So as a result of that, their identity is where they stand compared to other people. So they obsess over where they stand relative to other people. Everybody sucks but them, and then their little minions and flying monkeys. Usually they'll say that all the good people suck because those are the people that threaten them, and then the people that aren't that good, they're like, no, that guy's good, because they're just picking what's called a flying monkey. Somebody doesn't threaten them, okay? That's what you'll see with psychopaths and narcissists. They hate the idea of state. They fucking loathe it. They can't stand it because they see your joy and it makes them fucking angry, okay? And as a result of that, if you ever talk about the process, love for the process, like they would teach in holy texts, like Bhagavad Gita, Tao Te Ching, things like that, flow state books, you can look up books like Flow. Stephen Coulter talks, look up Stephen Coulter, Stealing Fire, Stephen Coulter, Rise of Superman. You can probably guess who had some influence in some of their organizations' thinking, perhaps. That's up to you to guess. But what I'm saying is, look those up and look up the statistics that they've looked at top athletes, and yet some people that are fucking psycho, they think they're above that process, okay? So basically, I'd actually recommend go study those books. Stealing Fire, Rise of Superman. Go check them out, okay? Give you a better idea. You don't have to, because you already understand flow state, but I think you'll benefit. Now, basically what I'm saying is that if somebody who, say, hates the process, why is it that somebody who is a psycho hates the process? They hate the process because the process is a representation of the ever-dancing nature of the universe itself. And I know that's a weird-ass fucking statement. Okay, I get it. The universe is always in flux. It's always in a dance. There is no ultimate outcome in the universe. There's only temporary outcomes, okay? Everything is always in a state of change all the time. Law of entropy, you can look up physics, all that stuff. It's always changing. We're not actually going anywhere. We can briefly get a taste of some kind of an outcome, but ultimately we are process. Ultimately, we are flow. So the more that you identify with results, with ego, with where you compare to other people, the more that you're blocking the flow. So somebody who's a psycho hates flow, and therefore they hate the idea of process. When in reality, people who talk about process, love for the process and flow, tend to be peak performers that are actually crazily focused on getting certain outcomes. They just realize that if they don't engage the process itself, it's weakening them towards that outcome. So by fully letting go of the outcome, but paradoxically, and being in this flow state, but then paradoxically, furiously driving that flow state towards an outcome, that's when you get that crazy fucking result, okay? And if you want to see the results of that, come out and learn from me in person. Look at my improvisational humor. Look at the way that I'm using my voice. Look at vocal projection. Look at off-the-cuff seminars. Look at how I work a venue. Look at how I can impose my frame and flow state and vibe onto a venue. And that is all done via that process, which I've cultivated over decades, and I'll continue to as long as God will allow me to be alive on this earth, okay? So it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. But this is basically an elite level teaching, okay? This is a top caliber elite level teaching. It is not for the faint of heart. It is not for dabblers. It is not for fucking tourists. It is not for people that are not serious. This is for people that are deadly, deadly fucking serious about going to the very top and getting the best results possible. But paradoxically, we say to ourselves, to be the best, we let go of it, while paradoxically driving furiously towards it. We let go of it to get in that flow state and then direct that flow state to that outcome, okay? And this is transcendent level understanding, okay? So in other words, when you're watching a guy like Tom Brady down by the most amount of points by halftime in Super Bowl against Atlanta, go look that up, and you see him bounce back, that's the kind of flow state that I'm talking about. When you see LeBron James down 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors, who won the most amount of games of any team ever in the regular season, and he comes back down from 3-1, these guys are accessing flow states on the highest level. By the way, Klay Thompson, I remember at one point, he was being interviewed after they were up 3-1, and no team's ever lost a final when they're up 3-1. They said, how do you compare yourself to the 1980s Lakers? And I think Stephen Curry was like, well, you know, and then Klay jumped in and he was like, we're better than those Lakers. I knew the millisecond that Klay said we're better than those Lakers, that LeBron and Kyrie Irving were going to come back for the first time ever, and they were going to come back from 3 games down. They're going to win. I fucking knew it. I'm not a sports bettor, but if I was, I would have put down my money on that because I would have got a really good return on that. I knew that simply because his ego was now attached which means that he was now cut off from flow. And the really good thing about the Golden State Warriors that season was that they were in it for the joy of the dance. Okay, in tribal leadership, they talk about level 5 leadership is that you're truly in it not to compete with anybody, but just for the joy of the dance itself. Okay, talk about tribal leadership later. Great book. Okay, so Klay Thompson basically revealed that he was in it for outcome. He was in it for ego. He wasn't in it for flow. And when we have such joy for the game, such joy for public speaking, such joy for social skills, such joy for going out, and you can find that deep, deep level infinite in that joy of the process itself, that is when you will fucking smash it. And basically what I do, okay, is that I create a process for you when you're going around a venue. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you to execute on that. And then what I'm trying to do is get you into a massive flow state. I'm trying to pull you, and not just trying, I'm going, come hell or high water is happening. I don't really care whether you like it or not. You're gonna have a great time. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my ability to pull you up. As I said at the beginning of this video, I'm gonna pull you up to my frame. I'm going to have an entire group where everybody's kind of resonating and vibrating at that level. Everybody's having fun. They're imposing that fun into the environment so that the environment is having fun, and that's when the night just fucking pops off. You've got to see this in person. You've got to see it. There's a reason why I teach these programs. You've got to see it. As a life experience, you owe it to yourself to see this. And I mean, as far as improving your communication or your dating life or your social life, your friends, networking, meeting people, professional, why is it my buddy Sid, dropped out of mergers and acquisitions for several years to learn this? Because he knew that this was the fucking superpower that he was missing, and he knew that this was the edge that was going to make him millions. So I want to share that with you, okay? So taking a trading with me is not meant to be something where you're losing money from it. That's up to you what you do with it. It's meant to be something where it is such a powerful edge over your competition. You've learned from the best, you've learned from the people that are the most serious, and you've learned not just from people in a seminar room, you've not just learned from people talking in a video, but you're learning from somebody who puts it on the line. Okay, so they have to be that good at it that they'll put it on the line and produce the kind of stuff that I'm talking big here. You think I'm talking big? This is an under-exaggeration for what it's like to learn from me properly, okay? This is me being, this will sound like I'm being hella cocky. It's actually humble. That's what's crazy about it, okay? It's actually me being humble because the program is not just about me. I'm the anchor there, but other people that are there are good. These programs attract such good people. They're so good that they want to feed off of it. So they're receptive and they're serious. They're not just there to waste time, right? It's not like somebody on a live leaving random comments. It's not like somebody at a free tour who is better because at least they're there. These are the best of the best of the best people to network with. It's actually a screen inherently because it costs some money to attend. So it's a screen of only good people that are serious, that are actually investing in it. So you've got good people that are serious about it, they're investing in it, and that are positive. And so when I come in there and I anchor that, and I get everybody in that state, and then we get whole venues in that state, the things that we do are incredible. I want you to experience this. If you want to, hop in right here. I don't have a website about this. You've never really seen me selling this online or anything like that because I've got a 22-year list, and these things fill up on their own. They fill up without me trying to fill them because I've been doing it for several decades. I have word of mouth. I've got top-end one-on-one clients and all sorts of stuff. But if you want to get on it, my personal view of this is that I'm not going to be teaching this past this year. And the reason why is because I'm going to be focused on podcasting. So if you want to actually be on one of these things, if it's a bucket list item to experience this before you die, do not assume that I'm going to be doing some boutique little boot camp as I'm going on to my destiny later in life, which I have some huge plans. Okay, so what I'd recommend that you do is while I'm doing it, hop on here. I'm only letting this, I don't need to fill these things. These things fill on their own. So what I'm telling you to hit me up, only if you're serious, only if you're serious. Name, phone number, email, and time to call you. Only if you're serious, okay? If you're one of those people who's a dabbler, not an action taker, get the fuck out of here. If you're somebody who's a massive action taker and you give a fuck about your results, but not just that, but you care about your bucket list experience and you just want to meet me in person and you want to get a piece of this and you think you could do something with it, if you think that you're someone that could do something with this, okay, and you want to see the real teaching, hit me up. Okay, and I'll know that you're serious at that point. All right, so wrap up this video. Back with more soon. Big takeaways from this video. Do not allow people to pull you down to their frame. Pull other people up to your frame. Flow states, processes that generate flow states. The beauty of the process itself, but how we take that beautiful transcendent state and direct it towards outcome to get elite level results. Anybody doing it not like this, in my view, is not even serious about the results, even though paradoxically, you're serious about the process. The joy that you'll get from this, the satisfaction, in my view, it keeps you fucking young, it keeps you sharp, and it awakens the soul. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll be back with more soon. Peace.